4:52 CT is when The Rock turned up to SmackDown this week. He was wearing a cowboy hat. Alright then. Also, hello my friends, and welcome to Ups and Downs for SmackDown. I know it's not really a cowboy hat, it's more like a farming hat. But you know what? Farming is really important. Like if you're eating some vegetables right now, where do you think that came from? I don't know what that means. Let's up those downs. My favourite part of all of this is that Roman Reigns got there at 4:34 p.m. and Cody Rhodes, I think, arrived at 4:14. So I want to know what the arrival time for WWE superstars actually is officially on the piece of paper, because people seem to be turning up at random. They're also flanked by security because nobody wants a big old brawl. As we know, wrestling security does suck. But here came Logan Paul. He basically said anything great that has happened in WWE recently is because of him. Man, he was getting wanted out of the building, but he actually dealt with them quite well when he told us he had a big old announcement. Ruh-roh. And yes, that's because from this point forward, including WrestleMania, every single pay-per-view premium live event that WWE has is going to have a big old Prime logo slap bang in the middle of the ring. Now look, I would prefer it if it was in the corner, because it did look a little bit garish, but that's the whole point. WWE wants to make a bunch of money. Exhibit A. We were really going all in with this too, because then he invited business partner KSI to the ring. I was like, that's kind of random. And just when they were about to take some photos, do you know who appeared from underneath the squared circle? That's right, it was Randy Orton. Now here's the deal, because he was under the ring, I think we should have had one of these When Did Randy Get Here? And it'd be like 4:79 or something like that, and it would just be pitch darkness, because of course there's no lights under there. Maybe he could have whispered into the camera, I am here, don't worry about it. It would have been really strange. His big plan, of course, was to RKO Logan Paul, but when that doesn't work, he smashed one out, that sounded weird, on KSI instead. And look, fair play to Kusi, he actually took that very well. The only sad part is that Randy then grabbed some Prime and he drank it and said, oh, it tasted good. I think he should have gone mega babyface here and gone, that's disgusting, when he poured it all over KSI's head. So I think we know what we're doing at WrestleMania. The US Championship will be on the line too, and I also believe that Kevin Owens is going to be put into this mix, which we'll talk about in just 1 second. But this was alright. I mean, it did kind of feel like one big advert, but I do enjoy the build for this match. Give it a nub. We then learned that WWE has surpassed 100 million subscribers on YouTube, which is actually quite the feat. I think only 10 channels have ever done that. When, yes, we did have Randy on teaming with Kevin Owens to take on Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Now, I really do enjoy these four, and it started off with KO absolutely whipping Austin's ass. As soon as he tagged in Grayson Waller, Orton was here. Randy kind of kicked his ass too. These idiots did have a plan though, which was casting distraction, meaning Orton had to go after Theory and Kevin had to go after Grayson, but eventually this did work. The bad guys cut off the good guys. Honestly, they're so obnoxious in the best possible way. I would give them the tag team titles. Instead, I think the WWE is going to break them up. Damn. The real issue, though, is that nobody is watching the television shows, and I'd really appreciated it if we started watching the television shows. Actually, Bianca Belair does, but once again, we'll get to that later. But at one point, when Waller was doing really well, he started mimicking other people's poses, and you can't do that. Somehow it gives all the energy to your opponent. Surprise, surprise, Kevin Owens saw his opportunity. Hot tag to Randy. He started to run his greatest hits before Theory once again was trying to cast interference, which is when Kevin Owens took him out on the outside with this massive cannonball. I thought he was dead. There was this cool moment though, because Austin continued to do all of this, which is when Waller did get the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up for the 1-2, ooh. That didn't work. Instead, Owens was back and he started busting out stunners, where he took Austin Theory and quite literally threw him at Randy Orton as he hit the RKO, and they got the win. It was a flubbing fantastic ending. It made me pop. Of course, Logan Paul was back after this and he was trying to punch everybody with brass knucks, when at one point, Randy was going to get him and he almost hit Kevin Owens. So once again, you can see what's going to happen here. Eventually, he will punch him and KO will be like, wait a minute, I want my revenge on both of you now. 3-way at WrestleMania. I'm starting to think that maybe, just maybe, we could get Grayson Waller versus Austin Theory at WrestleMania as well, but we'll have to wait and see. This was a very fun match. We then made sure to tell everybody once again that Cody, Seth, Roman, and The Rock all have mega security. I've told you this once, I'll tell you it 9,782 times. There's no point having wrestling security, because wrestling security sucks. We then got right back into the Mania stuff after this. I thought it was great. Because Bayley was doing a sit-down interview with Kayla Braxton and was essentially telling us, man, this damage control, I just wanted to give my all to it and I really believed in everyone. But now I'm starting to retroactively look back and thinking, I don't think they ever had my back at all. She's also pretty sure that Dakota Kai was manipulating her from the start, but that's okay, because it just means now, when she does face Io Sky at WrestleMania, she has to teach her a lesson and become the women's champion. And listen, that's exactly what has to happen. I don't care if it's the most obvious thing in the world. If you do not coronate Bayley, I'm gonna go moan on the internet. They really did just try and sell this idea, though, that Bayley is a good guy now, and the whole time she was trying to do the right thing, but maybe she just got a little bit distracted. But then, this is where it really ties in, we cut to Naomi, who was watching, when Bianca Belair walked in and went, I'm sorry, you ain't buying this ship, are you? I'm not gonna forgive Bales. She made my life a living hell for years. It's true. Naomi tried to talk back about this, but Belair wasn't having any of it. This is the best thing about new WWE, is that the characters actually remember things that have happened to them and don't just go, oh, I see, they're a babyface now, let's shake hands. Probably means that we can set up a feud between Bayley and Bianca Belair at some point. Well, that would require Bianca turning heel. Maybe we do it. But either way, this is something you could actually dive into. When Bobby Lashley and Karrion Kross fought to a disqualification. Oh no. Now, we have talked about this before, and look, if you're enjoying it, I'm very, very happy for you, genuinely, because not everything can be for me. But when it comes to this faction feud, I just do not get it. Now, in terms of the match itself, I did enjoy it a lot, mostly because it was just big men slapping man meat, because they were just punching each other and doing suplexes, then people were being thrown into Simba the Steel Steps, then people were being thrown into Rita the ring post, then they'd like flex for a little bit. I was like, yes, I have no issues with this. I mean, Scarlett did keep getting involved, which when Bob went, wait a minute, I forgot I'm in a wrestling match, which is when Karrion would get him. But you know the deal with Lashley. He's a jacked fool, and he was trying to apply the Hurt Lock. When that didn't work, though, he switched gears and he went for the spear, which is when the Authors of Pain turned up, and they attacked him for the DQ. And I was like, man, do you just need inspiration for another one of your books about agony? And also, why didn't you do this 10 minutes ago? What are you waiting for? It didn't take long before B-Fab and the Street Profits were here too, as these guys just went at it. Although it ended with Karrion Kross hitting that new move that I think is called The Last Testament, and the group is called The Final Testament. The whole point is this, though, they extended this standing tall. So once again, the match was fun, I'm giving it an up, but in terms of this program, I'm just not invested in it. I've taken my money and I've put it somewhere else, and I just kind of think every single attribute in both teams could be used in a better way. Now look, I hope I totally get proven wrong, and everyone can laugh at me, as happened throughout my life, but yeah, just don't really care at the moment. Down. Then got reminded that Rey Mysterio returned last week, and he will be back next week, when we saw Dragon Lee hanging out playing Nintendo. When Elektra Lopez walked in and basically became an internet troll, she went, this guy. One, he thinks he's a dragon, and two, he thinks he's the next Rey Mysterio. So Lee went and breathed fire on her. Didn't happen. The rest of Legado del Fantasma then turned up too, and they were also horrible to this guy, going, he thinks he's a good professional wrestler. Felt really sorry for Dragon Lee here. It's like, man, you just bullying him. And also, he's a dragon in a human land. Give him some slack. We will get back to that later though, and straight after this we did get a reminder of this year's current inductees for the Hall of Fame. Looks pretty good. When we had Michin versus Tiffany Stratton. I tell you, it is Tiffany time. She is absolutely flying on the main roster. And I know that Michin hasn't done a lot recently, but she still got owned here. And at one point, Stratton did that cartwheel elbow into the corner. Genuinely, could be the best one I've ever seen. She absolutely nailed her. Michin then decided she was going to go for the Stars Clash, but I think that made her sad because she remembered about AJ, which is when Tiffany reversed out of this. She hit the Alabama Slam, she hit the prettiest moonsault ever, which did look very, very good. 1, 2, 3. Now, I do think the idea here is that Michin is distracted because the OC did break up, but I don't think we're pushing that button hard enough. But either way, this is what you should do with somebody you want to be a star after you've called them up from NXT. I like this a lot. There was some synergy as well because we got straight to AJ Styles, who was cutting a promo in the back with this like dun 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 music over the top, and he told LA Knight, I don't like you, pal, because you walk around like you own the place, and as soon as you could step over me when I was injured, you did, and you stole my spotlight. Now, of course, we know the real reason is that one, AJ is trying to be the hater of the year, but also two, he doesn't like the fact that he's called AJ and LA Knight is called LA, and there can only be one person on this brand that has initials as a first name. He also said that he was going to humble LA Knight, so I kind of looked around for the Iron Sheik, but it didn't turn up. When we got to LA Knight, who was so mad that AJ had done this, and even madder that he wasn't at the building, he took a chair and he smacked the shib out of a television. I was like, what did the TV do to you? Given the fact that he was annoyed that AJ doesn't turn up to the buildings, you know what's going to happen soon. It's wrestling's favourite illegal activity. He's probably going to cause a home invasion. Maybe this time, the cops will care. I see dozens of these every single year. But nobody ever gets flubbing arrested. We then saw Tyler Bate playing WWE 2K24. So you just know somewhere the Undertaker was mad. Pete Dunne walked in and he kind of eye-rolled about this because Tyler should be focusing on the tag team titles. So Bate was like, all right, I'll go talk to Nick Aldis about this, even though they just got their shot at the last pay-per-view premium live event. And as soon as he was gone, Peter got the controller and he started playing instead. Did make me laugh. When it was time to heat up Dragon Lee again, does feel like it's been a while. He was so upset about all those mean words from earlier though, courtesy of Angel. He was facing him. They had a pretty good match. I mean, he drop-kicked Angel straight away as soon as the bell rung and was going 100 miles an hour when this damn fool started going, oh, I'm hurt, my knee. I was like, Dragon, you're not going to believe this, are you? But of course, he's not used to the tricks that some humans can do, so it worked. I was like, damn it, he got it. Now, Lee did come back with this awesome sit-out powerbomb for a 1-2, which is when Angel kind of went to have a chat with Humberto, who was on the outside. So Dragon was like, all right, well, I'm going to jump onto both of you. And he did. Now, it sort of worked because Angel was able to hit a kick that was super, but when he went for the powerbomb, Dragon Lee basically turned it into a Hurricane Rana and the most devastating move in all sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, and he beat him. Kind of came out of nowhere, but I still went, wahoo. I'm Mario. The guy Del Fantasma then attacked him afterwards, as the commentators told us, well, the LWO isn't in the building this evening. And I was like, why? Where have they gone? That is a stupid idea. It also meant these morons were able to hit the triple powerbomb and leave Dragon Lee laying, but you can see what we're doing here. We're going to have a big old match maybe at WrestleMania or the SmackDown before. Now, you can actually make some kind of comparisons to this and what we're doing with the Karrion Kross stuff, but for some reason this just seems to flow better. I don't know, maybe I'm completely wrong. It's just how it feels. Giving it up. The Kai then essentially told Bayley she was 100% right in everything she did say, and that's why she wants to take her on next week. I actually think Bayley can probably lose that match, because if she is winning the big one at WrestleMania, overall, she'll be totally fine. Which is when Nick Aldis lost control of his show. I mean, come on, dude. But he went to check in on Seth and Cody like the good dad he is when they weren't there. He turned to the security guards and was like, haven't you been keeping an eye on them? They just went, I don't know, shrug emoji, because how many times do I have to tell you wrestling security sucks? I think they just seen the running order though, because the bloodline then did come to the ring. This was hilarious, because they took about 72 hours to get there. The Rock came out, and he took about 72 hours to get there. Then Cody and Seth arrived, and they took about 72 hours to get there. But man, you have got to go and see this new Rock entrance. He stands there as all this lightning goes bzz, bzz, bzz on the big screen, and it looks absolutely badass. Now look, before all of this too, The Rock and Roman did embrace each other as we got to the acknowledging. When Cody got in there, and he too was buzzing off all of this, he was like, man, shouldn't we just take a moment to appreciate this? I feel very privileged to be a part of it. That's like, Cody, you're such a good guy. He also did want to talk about the big tag team match challenge that The Rock had made, because he was confused by this. He was like, why are you making the challenges? Don't you have to talk with that Roman Reigns first? Because as soon as you did last week, you were hugging him and acknowledging him. You're an absolute cheat. The Rock then cut him off and said, the only reason I did do that is because that's what real family does. And let me lay the stakes down again. We win, it's Bloodline rules on Saturday night or Sunday night. We lose, on Sunday night, it's just mano a mano. Yeah, right. That wouldn't happen anyway. Do you think Solo Sikoa is going to be able to contain himself? No. Now, to be fair to Seth Rollins, after what happened on Monday, the crowd started to chant diarrhea at this point, so he did get it over, when, man, he took the microphone, he cut The Rock off and said, you're having a midlife crisis, and we do accept, and we got to give all the rewards to Seth during this. He was spitting fire. Roman Reigns then chimed in. I love this guy, because all he ever does is go, like he doesn't care, and he kind of took Cody's insult and aimed it at Seth, and he was like, man, Codes, you're letting Rollins accept for you? What an absolute waste of space you are. He also insinuated that if Cody Rhodes doesn't win, he'll never be able to challenge for the title again, where some AEW fans had a meltdown. And all we did too was talk about him finishing his story. My word, I need him to finish that story. It is going on for a long ass time. It's like the Lord of the Rings trilogy. By this point, the Great One was totally wound up though, and he really went to town. He's like, oh, wait a minute, Cody. Let's talk about your family. You have a bunch of siblings, and for some reason, you're younger than all of them. And you want to know why? It's because you were a mistake. And I was like, Cody, you got to hit him. You got to smack him, Cody, especially after what happened at Vegas, which is when Rhodes took his hand and he slapped The Rock right around the face. That was a good moment. It was also clearly rushed as we went right off the air, probably because of those entrances. But actually, this made it even better. It was like a massive cliffhanger. Cody has finally struck The Rock. What does it mean? There's so much more to this too, though, because when you do watch the facial expression, sometimes Roman looks mad at The Rock, and then Seth looks mad at Cody, and Cody looks mad at Seth, and everyone's mad at each other. So we're clearly cooking here. And for those people going, wait a minute, Cody's siblings aren't as young as The Rock said they were. No. That's the whole point. He's a heel and he's spouting nonsense. So I suppose a couple of these guys could even do somewhat of a heel turn after WrestleMania, but either way, it does feel like proper big time stuff and you can't help but get invested. And I can't wait for these two matches. They're going to take us on a roller coaster. Give it an up. Which brought us to the end of SmackDown. I am going to give it an up because I'm getting very excited about WrestleMania, which is the entire point. So yes, I've already said, give it an up overall. Click the video on the screen, there's ups and downs for Dynamite, support all professional wrestling and my idiot stuff that I do. Like the video, share the video and subscribe. There is no pay-per-view this week. That didn't work, so I'll see you next week instead. Take care, goodbye.